was on Dalí, and it talked about Dalí's paranoia critical method of viewing the world.
Yeah, I read that article.
To celebrate the irrational. And you know, we have to admit, Dalí was a master painter. And he, if you could...
That article was discussed.
Right, well, here's what I want to ask you. Could you discuss the power of the object, say the painting, versus the power of conceptual or non-object art, especially in regards to the Dalí statement that they quoted was, Dalí said, "In reality, I am not interested at all in painting and literature. I'm interested in cybernetics and physics and biology."
Well, that's something he said very late in his career, and I think that was to jump on kind of a McLuhanist bandwagon. But I will say about that article that what that article was, it was the New York Times.
Yes.
And it simply only existed to continue this New York-oriented view of art history that surrealism ended in 1939. And so the fact that Dalí continued, was one of the first artists to overtly engage pop culture, to play with it in a really ironic way, was never mentioned.
Right.
And the fact that Dalí's whole late career was basically Jeff Koons. And so by erasing his late history, it makes Koons a star. That's the New York prerogative.
Right.
You have to erase Dalí to make Koons a star. The subtext of that article is only that. To stop Dalí's career in 1939 and keep him a Freudian surrealist is to escape the fact that pop culture was already in full throttle production by the 40s. Dalí was already there doing that. They have to erase his early work in order to create artists that the New York art world could not recognize until the fucking 80s. Dalí is a genius.
Oh, yeah.
And to erase his genius, you have to stick him in a historical timeline that subscribes to Museum of Modern Art history of art, which is pure bullshit, and based on collectors and acquisitions and money. That's all it's about. Is that strong enough? Without Dalí, there would be no Jeff Koons, and without Dalí, there would be no Warhol. And by erasing Dalí's late career and making him a hack, it just makes those New York-oriented stars stars, because the New York art world is based on a phony star system.